that I'm trying to think of what type of great team is this Thunder. Are they? They're not necessarily that one-hit wonder that, comes in, comes out, comes in like lightning, disappears like smoke. But if I were to come up with a comparison just off of how you watch it and my feel when I watch this team, it's similar to what a lot of people think, is they almost remind me a little bit of what the Kansas City Chiefs were. Not this past year. You can even count that. But the 2 years before that where they won 2 straight Super Bowls. It reminded me of a team that almost inevitably wins. And I'm not saying this because the Thunder are that much better than the crowd and this is a team that's going to win 3 championships like it's no tomorrow. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're as dominant. I'm not saying there's a Mahomes in the fold. But they know how to win ugly. And that is almost become an embraced identity of them. And I'm not saying that yesterday's victory was ugly. They play great defense. They know how to get to the free throw line. But that latter point that I just brought up, the free throw line, the fouls, the reliance on it, I can't sit there and say that this is a very fun team to watch because it's not. It's not. You're not fooling anybody. They're not a wow factor. It's the Scottie Scheffler of NBA teams. Not necessarily the biggest wow, blown out of your chair type of performances, but they win. That reminded me of Kansas City when they won those 2 straight Super Bowls. Kansas City, yes, they had Mahomes, and Mahomes had his occasional brilliance, but you almost just knew that somehow, some way, with the help of the officials, with the help of situational football or situational basketball in this case, it was going to fall their way. Now, they killed them, but OKC is starting to embrace that identity that we're okay with winning and it not being pretty. We actually enjoy winning and it's not being pretty. I watched yesterday's game and I thought this team is, number one, not a lot of fun to watch, and number two, probably going to win the whole thing, and I don't think anybody's going to enjoy it.
I thought the game was deceptively close in the first half because you're not going to get Julius Randle drilling 4 consecutive three-pointers to keep you afloat like the Minnesota Timberwolves did have.
And Gilgeous-Alexander was terrible in the first half. He had like 11 free throws, but like 2 of 13 made field goals. He was terrible in the first half.
Something's got to give. Like, this was unsustainable, keeping it close for the Timberwolves, which scares me for the entertainment value of the rest of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I'll say is it's not like OKC was just getting an unfair whistle. It's just Gilgeous-Alexander being the best player on the team. He had like 11 free throws in the first half. He got to the free throw line like 7 times. He had 7 free throws in the first 5 minutes of the game. And it's not the fact that Giannis gets fouled. Giannis gets 15 free throws in a game because Giannis is a freight train and people have to foul him. Jokic is sort of the same. Jokic complains too much, though. Gilgeous-Alexander is, to a Jalen Brunson level, so savvy with establishing contact and then understands, like Harden did and made a career out of, understands how to make the game easier. Making the game easier is getting to the free throw line. That, to me, is a disservice. It's not fun to watch. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying it should change. It should be outlawed. That's just my read. I don't watch the Thunder and think that this is one of those all-time great teams, the Warriors of 2018, where there's just so much firepower, there's nothing you could do. That is not this Thunder team. This Thunder team is excellent defensively. They have a great player in Gilgeous-Alexander who has an unpretty game. It's not a beautiful style. And that almost reminds me of how the Chiefs win. The Chiefs, after they lost Tyreek Hill, yes, they still have their very good 2-point conversion plays, the crafty Andy Reid plays. They have this and that, but they roll out there with McCole Harmon. They roll out there with a 34-year-old Travis Kelce, a Noah Gray, and a smattering of Pacheco and other random running backs, and they're able to win championships. They're able to get there. And it's almost the Patriots did it for years too. They're going to win, and I'm not going to enjoy watching it. That's what I get with the OKC Thunder, and I'm at this point now where they're probably going to do this and continue to do this because their defense is too good, and their ability to play on their own terms, especially Gilgeous-Alexander, is probably going to be too much. And I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. I think it's going to actually hurt what we're going to watch the fact that OKC is going to be like this.
Yeah, it's like a bumblebee. Specifically, sorry, I should have given more context. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is like a bumblebee where it's buzzing around in your face. It's buzzing around in your face. It's annoying, and you can't help but swipe at it and get it out of your way. What happens when you do that? Oftentimes, you get stung. Oftentimes, that whistle blows, and it's a foul on you. And people will say, well, don't swat at it. It can't hurt you. Well, it's hard to not foul
when you get provoked.
SGA when he's... Exactly. It's very hard to watch, if you ask me. I've been A1 hater on foul baiting culture when it was James Harden behind the three-point line, and we're seeing it in a different fashion, in a different font on the Thunder right now.
Now, the one thing I'll say is the Timberwolves had no business, zero, winning last night. They can't shoot 35% from the field and shoot 51 threes. The Thunder dared them to shoot threes out the building. And there's going to be a game or two where Minnesota's able to do that, and they're probably going to beat them. But if Minnesota's plan is to shoot 53s a game, this can be a quick series. It's going to be a quick series. And then all of a sudden, the Thunder are going to roll on to play the winner of the Pacers and the Knicks, and that's either going to be a 4 or 5 game series if, again, the Thunder can play on their terms. That's an interesting comparison with the Bumblebee, but I understand the point.
Because a wasp's out to get you. A wasp is trying to initiate that contact and sting your hand.
Yes.
SGA, is trying to play that blame game where it's not my fault that I happen to be on this part of the court and your momentum brings you into that part of the court, and bing, bang, I'm at the free throw line.
And then he gets the whistle because he's probably going to get the MVP, and he's probably going to, all of a sudden, once you're that level of player, you get viewed at differently from the referees.
It's weird, though, because I would understand getting those calls post-MVP award season. Like next year, it would make more sense. Before he actually got the award, before he had that reputation, and yes, an 82-game regular season, the longest postseason, it feels like, in sports in the NBA, the reputation is out there, and it didn't take the 2024-25 season. But still, you got to show the hardware either with winning championships, winning conferences at least, or winning those individual awards. The following season, I understand those calls, not while you're doing it, not building that MVP season by doing it.
So if you're going to compare it into little quadrants of all the great players of the teams remaining, Gilgeous-Alexander's in his own box, but you got Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, again, is wildly erratic in terms of how good he plays offensively, but is somebody who can jump out the gym, who is athletic, who is entertaining, who's got personality, who can hit big threes, who has been in big moments, who has his moments of being clutch. And then you go to the Eastern Conference, and I think Jalen Brunson does the same thing. I think Jalen Brunson is a savvy, I don't know what the word is there, but he tries to get fouls, and it's a part of his game. It's a part of his plan to get to the free throw line. And that's every NBA player, but he is savvy at doing it. And then Tyrese Halliburton, who's been the most clutch player this postseason, on top of Brunson. The reason why I give Brunson a little bit more of the pass is because at least Brunson is closing out games offensively. He did it against Detroit 3 times. He did it against the Boston Celtics closing out games. He's unbelievable in a tight spot. Game 2 against the Celtics. Great example. Brunson is better and more entertaining, not only because he plays for New York, but more importantly because he's more clutch. He's a fourth quarter star. I don't get that necessary sense with Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know if there is a more uninteresting superstar in the NBA than Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't know if I'm not seeing the vision on this, but in terms of being that next level of big-time star, he's there. Productively, he is there. The team is there. They're probably going to get a championship and an MVP in the same year. I don't know if there is something that is the lack of flair. It almost works against him.
And you can't blame it on market. You can't blame it on outside the U.S. because Giannis is both.
And hold on. And Westbrook, too, played for Oklahoma City, was a big star for them.
Yeah.
Durant was a big star for them. They've had big stars in Oklahoma City as well. So that hasn't been a problem in the past. I think it's play style. Is there a more uninteresting, unremarkable, maybe is the word. And maybe you're thinking, maybe my perception has been molded to favor, deep threes, Steph Curry, flashy, or going to the basket and nothing in between because he's the